Welcome to today's video. We are at the shop and my main focus for today is hopefully to get the S15 running again. But I have a lot of odd ends and weird stuff, just tedious, time-consuming things to get done. And that's because finally everything that we've been waiting for, all those little odd ends and pieces that have been holding us back from getting this thing back on the ground, have all arrived. All of the, back orders and supply chain delays finally kind of caught up with the companies that I've been waiting stuff to arrive from, and we've got everything we need to get this thing finished. The main things that we're going to be working on today is I need to do the low pressure hose for the power steering. We've got a whole new system for that, which deletes these hose clamps and stuff like that and makes it all AN, which is great. Radiator fans, we got a nice kit to wire in for that there. Hoses, coolant, all that kind of stuff in there. I got to depin my plug here for the air temperature sensor and put some, nice pretty sheathing over that. I don't know what the correct term is for it, but you know what I'm saying. It's got to look black. It's not got to be color otherwise. So we need to do that. Tidy up a few other odd ends and bits here with wiring. I need to run my battery relocation positive wire all the way to the trunk that is coiled up on the ground there. So that's going to be fun, pulling out some interior for that. We're going to do some wiring in here with the fuel pump and just get the trigger wire and a few things tidied up there with some sheathing once again and get that all situated. And then the car should start, I think. Maybe. I think that's pretty much it. A bunch of other things that have arrived that we will be focusing on in the next few days will be finally getting the hydro kit and those new knuckles installed that we worked on way before we left for the States. These beautiful, nice ones that we kind of restored and put a whole bunch new bushes in and everything like that. I'm excited about that. Polyurethane bushes, new bushes on an S chassis on a Nissan feels so good in the rear end. Anyways, that aside, this is where the S15's at. I could talk all day about things and stuff like that, but I just want to drive this thing. I miss this thing so much. We got to get this shucking inspected as well and pass all of that. But for the most part, I just want to hear this thing running again. And I want to hear my nice, beautiful, genuine Garrett G Series turbo spooling. First things first though. Yeah.
A few moments later.
Today's video is sponsored by Lucky Labo. And if you've been sleeping under a rock and don't know who they are, let me educate you, because they are this awesome online store heavily dedicated to specifically more so the Silvia and Skyline chassis in the JDM space, but they sell a bunch of other really cool accessories, and this is one of them. If you're an Initial D fan and you love Japanese car culture and all those little knickknacks, you should know what this is. And this isn't just a cheap AC vent cup holder. This one has metal clips. It's super strong, so strong in fact, here's a quick clip of me drifting with, yes, that is coffee inside that can. So as you just saw, the cup holder was flawless, not a single problem. It is adjustable for both small cans and larger pet bottles and stuff like that. So definitely head to Lucky Labo, go check out some of the other really cool accessories they have there. And don't forget to use your coupon code SAMMIT to get further discount. And also guys, support the companies that support me. Once again, I would not be able to be doing the things that I'm doing today if it wasn't for awesome companies like Lucky Labo. So head to luckylabo.com, go check them out, grab something for your car, and let's get back to the video.
Figured I'd just start with the easiest job first, which is getting the sheathing on and the heat shrink. Yeah, we're nearly done. Super easy to do. A lot of fun. Get the easy stuff done first so you feel like you've accomplished at least something. Because knowing cars, most likely isn't going to go according to plan. I'm just saying, it's most likely not going to go according to plan. So I also need to get a smaller lighter because that is just way too overkill for that and super random how it just gets big and small all the time, the flame. Anyways, this is all nice and done now, which is kind of good. Nice proper sheathing and everything on there. The heat shrink, so that's much nicer. Let that sit there for now. On to the next thing, power steering. And there's no way to do this without making a mess. I'm going to try and suck out as much as I can with my brake bleeder thing over there. Hopefully we can get a lot of the oil out. But we're replacing the whole hose with this lovely kit that Chase Bay's just started making. They're not a sponsor or anything like that. I just really like how everything's black and it's not like it doesn't stand out or anything like that, you know. So this is like a really nice line that's literally just going to come straight out from the power steering pump with their adapter, and it goes on there with a nice new O-ring as well. And that then means we don't have to run all of this ugly, annoying stuff here, which always leaks because there's no like AN hose, braided hose that actually fits that diameter correctly on the pumps. So I'm just really glad that someone finally made an AN fitting that goes straight onto the side of the pump. It just solves so many problems. Well, not really yeah, it's problems. It just always leaks, like the tiniest bit, always. Anyways, I'm gonna get that done, try and not make a huge mess, and we'll move on to the next thing. This thing worked like a charm. Time to put the new fitting on. Pro tip for all of you guys out there, always lube up your O-rings with like a good little silicone grease or something like that. Just helps it slide into place so it doesn't pinch or tear or anything like that. Because the last thing you want is one of these to tear, and then you have to pull everything off and deal with all of the leaking and all that kind of stuff all over again. It's not nice. Trust me, I know, we're doing it right now. I'm just trying to figure out the orientation. Yeah, definitely this way. Another good thing about when you lube up your O-ring is generally it's enough to like make it kind of tacky and hold it in place for you. Just like how they use Vaseline or other types of grease to hold the O-rings in place when you're building a rotary engine, I guess. So finished with all the power steering stuff. That shouldn't leak anymore because I have pulled that apart so many times now. Hopefully never again. Power steering is like the worst. Like it's like ATF fluid and transmission fluid and diff fluid, but power steering fluid and dealing with all that mess, and I feel like that's worse than all of them combined. Anyways, that aside, I am working on the battery relocation kit because I think it's important we do that next, get the power wire run up to the engine bay. For that, I'm using one of these really nice Y splitters that's encased and isolated in a nice plastic case. I guess you can kind of use these for car audio as well. I did try to find some more like isolator, like body terminal things, but all they had were like little small ones for camper trailers and vans that I could get my hands on over here. Seems like a lot of that kind of common stuff that you'd find at like automotive shops in Australia or the USA aren't really available here in Japan for like relocation kits. So I'm gonna probably reach out to some friends in the States and just buy like a fair few of them, because obviously we got a bunch of cars here and I'm gonna wanna be relocating batteries in the future as well. I wanna have that stuff ready and available, and I mean, it's probably a good idea to have here too for friends and stuff like that that need it as well. But anyways, I'm gonna get that wire run. My plan of attack is I'm gonna pretty much lift out the carpet in the door here, and I wanna run the cable in along here all the way into the fender well up in here, and we're gonna come through here and then through the hole in there. So it's nice and tight and away from, you know, angle kit and this thing coming flying through there. You can see like this is obviously a very close zone with the amount of caster that I run to the tire touching, and I have all the cables zip tied and tucked nicely up here out of the way. And in fact, the tire sometimes rubs on the bottom of this bottom boot here. It might be a bit hard to see, but you can kind of just see it there. So I want to just pull the wire through here and straight into that hole there. I'm going to bring it around down the bottom of the frame, and then this little junction guy is going to be bolted into the bottom down there, all nice and neat. One kind of cool thing is with all the intercooler kits that you get here in Japan, they give you these little extenders here that extend the OEM plugs into the battery terminal, the OEM battery terminal. So the best thing about that was I could just cut the plugs off, put that into there, and now we have 2 plugs there that the OEM harness can just plug straight into. So that's super awesome, and I don't have to chop it up. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Wiring wise, we're all sorted with ground and everything in the trunk. So I'm gonna get this big fat boy cable, run all the way to the front, and then we should be good. But it's really starting to get cold because it's starting to get late. And my 2 heaters are not cutting it anymore, man. It's just need a new shop with a whole bunch of like aircon units or heaters or something. But at least I've got bulk coffee that I can just keep heating up to keep myself warm. So cable running time. So a little update here. We got the cable run pretty much the most of the way through the car now. It's all under the carpet here. I had to take out the seatbelt bolt just so I could run it under there for now, and also under the little gas puller here. And this is where we're at. I think this is going to be a little bit of a pain because I obviously need to get in here, but there's a cage in the way. So I'm gonna have to just try to finesse and get the interior pieces out, and then I'm probably going to just somehow, I might even end up taking out the sidebar just so I can get in there and stuff, but we're gonna have to move some things so we can kind of stab in through that rubber boot and grommet and then feed it into the engine bay. But it looks like we got plenty of cable left to go everywhere that we need it to. Looks like, I mean, it'll touch the headlight by the looks of it, so we might pull some back through once we get it lined up and just have a bit extra sitting in the trunk. But yeah, we're chipping away at it slowly. We're getting there, hopefully. Hopefully I can hear this thing crank by the end of today. That would be epic. So check this out. We got the cable through, guys. Definitely wasn't the simplest cable running that I've ever done, but we got her in there. I just used the wire and tape method to kind of get it through. So push the wire in from here first, and then coiled it around and pulled it through. But I did have to unbolt a bunch of the fuse box stuff and a big chassis plug to kind of like loosen everything up so I could get in there to run the cable. But yeah, we got her out. All I'm gonna do now is try and like map it out. And I'm gonna keep everything kind of loose for now, just so I know like how much slack I want to pull through, because I don't want to have to just chop off a bit at the end here. I'd rather have some slack in the trunk so that I can run the line a little bit nicer, maybe under the seat and through on the right hand side if we have enough. But yeah, I feel like the hardest part is done, and all I have to do now is run the cable, connect it into there, and it should be good. Finished running the cable and everything is wired up. I hope we're good and we're not going to have any issues. I've got the radiator filled up, good to go. I'm going to unplug the cam trigger so we can try to pump some oil through that new oil cooler, see if it'll crank. I'm going to be here for a while because it's got to push a bunch of oil through all of that. And I did top it up too, so it's a lot to go through an empty oil cooler. All right, moment of truth. Whoa, there she is. Yo, right away. She's real happy. I'm happy. I'm so happy. So happy. Took a little bit for the trigger to sync up again, I think, because I had it unplugged. We got oil pressure and everything, so whew. She is not run in a long time, I tell you what. Feels so good to see this thing running again. Still got a bit more work to get done, but at least it's running. So just waiting for this thing to bleed up. I've already bled all of the power steering fluid out, and it's running really nice now. So we're not getting any weird noises or anything. But just listen to this, guys. It's so responsive. I cannot wait to drive this. Getting all those air bubbles out and bleeding it. You can hear this like whipping sound where it just instantly starts sucking in air. Gosh damn, I am so excited. The other cool thing is the thermostat in the oil thing here is really cool. You could feel the heat in the filter, and it took a while before it opened up in the thermostat here to go into the cooler. And now I can feel heat into this, which is awesome. It means everything's doing as it should. Good to see. I'm about to show you what true happiness looks like. Anyways, bled the coolant. Car's running great. We obviously still need to touch up some things and get rad fans and stuff, all working with the Link ECU. I jumped in here to make sure everything was good. We had really good voltage and everything as well, so we know that the new LS alternator is working great as well, which is something that I wanted to make sure we were all good on, because voltage is super important with the thermos and stuff. So that was really, really good to see that voltage was all good on this side of things. And then moving on to fuel pump stuff, I just kind of, you know, put the fuel pump wires on the battery for now. I actually am going to order tonight a fused relay. I was thinking of just putting, like, I have fuses that could go inline, but instead of doing an inline fuse, I'd rather just use one of those fuse, like those fused relays. See these inline fuses? They're great and all, but just a lot of butt connectors and stuff like that. And I figured it would just be nicer if we just used one where the fuse was integrated into the relay, so make it a little bit nicer. That will literally arrive tomorrow. It's Amazon Prime, so I'm not too stressed about that. Tomorrow, I've got a bunch of running around to do over on the other side of Tokyo. We're gonna probably hang out with Oka-chan for a little bit, gonna go to the auctions and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a pretty hectic day, but we got the S15 running, and I couldn't be happier, to be honest. Like, coming back here, being able to hear this thing idle and run again, listen to the turbo spool, got me so hyped up. And there's seriously not much left on this before we can start shredding again. All I really need to do is tidy up the wiring, rad fans and fuel pump now. And then afterwards, it's rear knuckles changing and hydro setup. And I have everything for that. I've triple checked. So we probably only have like one full day of work left on this, and this can be running. So because of YouTube and how busy I am right now with things behind the scenes and stuff like that as well, it'd probably be 2 days for me, just because I can only really like do half a day here with how busy I am with other stuff. But yeah, I'm excited. One other cool thing is, look how good these Yashio radiator hoses look. I think he's going to be putting these up on the website soon, and I've got some silicone couplers for here and the turbo intake and stuff as well, so we can make it all pink in here, which is going to be sick. But yeah, I think it's a nice touch, these pink ones, these silicone hoses. Really nice. I'm so excited. I just want to drive it. Oh, hang on, I have to show you these. Look, look, look. See? Look how good these look. I mean, this is for the turbo, but look at that, right? I mean, look, it's a different shade of pink. It's a different shade of pink, right? If you look at it like that. But, you know, it's all pink. If I could, we'd probably do the intercooler hoses pink. But, like, imagine that there for the throttle body and stuff. It'll just match nicer. But, yeah, I'm just excited. Yashio factory car, all finally back together. And it runs. We're kind of... Yeah, anyways, we'll have this thing on the back of the truck in no time, and off to Yashio factory for Oka-chan to do the shuck end for me, because he knows people, so that's what's important. But anyways, for now, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to shut down my tuning laptop, and we should be good now to pretty much head home. It's already really late. I think May's like waiting at home for me with dinner. So happy wife, happy life, guys. I'm going to leave things here as they are, and I guess in the next S15 video, this thing should probably be ripping on the street. Well, on the back of a truck to a track or something like that. We'll probably do a shakedown somewhere close, like maybe Fuji or something like that would be cool. But yeah, we're done for now. Before we go anywhere else, there's something I'm dying to show you guys. And this here is the exact same wheel that I have on my S13 in the USA, and you already know where we're going, just a different color. And these tires are actually a stronger hardwall than the ones that are on the car in the USA. Now, I'm gonna let the air out of this because we're gonna do a little exercise for you guys. Now, I'm not gonna use my fancy machine or anything like that, right? But I just wanna teach you how to properly pop the bead on this. Now, the first thing is don't use soap or don't use any kind of like tire shine spray or anything like that. Get the proper stuff from, what is that? Oh, it froze. Whoa, you guys hear the ice cracking? That's crazy. Okay, anyways, so make sure you use the proper tire lube. If you use the proper tire lube, normally you can just pump these things up to like 80, 70 PSI and they'll pop on the bead, no problem. It's just when you use stuff like soap or tire shine spray or anything like that, that stuff evaporates and actually can make it even grippier and harder for it to jump on the bead and pop it on. So what I'm gonna do is just quickly debead this because I really wanna teach you guys how to use, if you have to use the brake cleaner lighter method, I want you to know how to do it properly. So I just want to show you. And I love Chris. And Chris, if you're watching this, I love you, man. It's okay. It was hilarious watching you burn down my wheels and tires, but I just want to make sure everyone knows how to do this properly. So here we have wheel and tire, and it's debeading, right? Now, typically when people would use the brake cleaner and lighter method is when they're stretching a wheel. Now, because these, stretching a tire on a bigger wheel. Now, because these tires are kind of like perfectly sized for these wheels, there's not really like a gap in here as it sits flush like this. It's actually already sealing on the bead, and if we were to just pump it up, it would probably pop right on, no problem, right? But if you're in a little bit of a tight situation, you don't have access to a big air compressor and stuff like that, you still need this to pop on. And how would you go about it? Is you would push down with your foot on the bead there, like that, to open her up. Spray some parts cleaner in there, just a bit. And as you take your foot off, that's all going inside there, mixing around with the air, right? Now, this is where things are gonna get a little sketchy. Because what you gotta do is light this and then stomp on it with your foot to let the air in for the flame to catch in and the explosion to happen. So, I'll sit you guys down. Hopefully we're gonna be okay and I'm not gonna die and we'll all be good. So we're gonna light it here. It's gonna burn a little bit and we're gonna push down with our foot to open the gap. There you go. Then start with this and you're good to go. So see how that works? Notice there wasn't a big flame or anything like that. Boom, on the bead. Check the front, the back as well. Back's up, almost on the bead, not just yet. One last pop, and we should be good. There she goes. We're only at 3 bar, which is 45 PSI. I hope that explains it for you guys. I would not, you can't use the foot method and everything that I just did if it's a stretch, if there's an open gap there. In that case, then it's just spray. You have someone with the tire gauge, add air at the same time. Look, you can see the smoke coming out from the little explosion. It's kind of cool. You have someone pumping air in to like get the mixture right. And then what you want to do is just light it. It'll go bang by itself without you using your foot to like open the bead and you're good to go. It's not something I recommend. Once again, I just wanted people to learn and know how to do it. But yeah, obviously tire valve out is a big one too. Highly recommend making sure you got that out. Otherwise it just won't work. But yeah, that's it. Tires on the bead, good to go. Good to pump up and shred. So that was a little bit of fun there. I hope you guys enjoyed that and found it educational, but once again, don't repeat that. And if you can, don't ever do that. It's just, things can go wrong, obviously, as you saw in Chris's video. This little thing was completely my wife's idea. May was like, yo, you should totally show everyone how to do that properly, just for the memes. So hopefully that turned out all right and you guys enjoyed that little bit of SAMMIT sketchy teaching. I've actually had to help out a few friends at the track when we haven't had an air compressor or anything on how to pop the bead and then use one of those battery like compressors. I'm kind of, I guess, well experienced in how to pop a bead with a brake cleaner and a lighter. But anyways, it's time to get out of here. So let's shut off this heater. It's gonna go boom. And this one too. Can't do this one with my foot there, gotta push it. This thing is so weak actually. I'm really disappointed how weak this one is, but whatever.